just going to mute myself while people are joining. Oh, hello, everybody.
Hello. Okay, getting ready to start.
We'll just give a few more minutes for people to join in.
Okay. Yeah, what do we got? Yeah, a couple minutes.
We should have some music in the background.
That would be nice. Yeah. Where I am, it's about 95 degrees. What's the weather up there in Vancouver?
Oh, it's pretty good. Today is like, well, we are in degrees Celsius in Canada, you know what I mean? So it's 23 degrees Celsius in Burnaby right now. It's beautiful outside. Yeah, that's a nice day.
So, yeah, so that's probably about 76 or something?
I believe so. Let me check Google.
Okay, here, let me see what Celsius, let me see if I can convert to Celsius. So you said it's 24 Celsius, 23?
Yes, 23 degrees Celsius, yeah.
So it's 73 degrees for us. So it's that's a nice cool day for us.
Yeah, for us it's like, oh, it's warm.
Yeah.
It's summer. Woo.
Awesome, awesome. Okay.
Yeah, thanks for joining, everybody. So we'll just wait a little bit more. Getting more people in the room.
All right. Hopefully everybody can see I guess what would be the main thumbnail for the webinar on the screen, and then they can see me and you there on the side. Is that right?
Yes, I believe so. People can, if you guys want to use the chat as well to chat, feel free to, use the chat, say hello, ask questions. And we'll take up the question at the end, but Sabran will go over that.
Yeah, good. So, yeah, so certainly use the chat box. I wouldn't mind if you let us know that you can hear us okay and that you can see us okay and everything's coming through for you.
Let me check. Apparently, America's saying that she only see me and not you, Sabran. So let me check here.
Oh, well, maybe because I'm the one sharing the slide deck.
Oh, it's possible.
If I stop sharing and there now, okay, good. Now, can you all see me and Sabran right now? It's possible. And if you're on the phone, usually it will switch to the person who talks. Okay, good. So they can all see us now.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so are we ready to get started?
Yeah, definitely. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, well, hello, everybody. Great that you're with us. So as you probably saw, so my name is Sabran Walker, and I'm the CEO of Walker Creative. And then, of course, here we have, and I'm in California, and then up in Vancouver, Canada is Guillaume. And I don't want to obliterate your last name, so please, Guillaume, why don't you tell?
Yeah, my name is Guillaume Bourdage. Super French. So I'm from Quebec. I live in Vancouver now, and I am the co-founder at Graphem Solutions. So we are a web design and web development company, and we range from small website to large complex web application. So yeah, Sabran can continue the presentation.
Fantastic. That's great. So yeah, so today I will put a slide deck on the screen and go through slides with everybody to sort of give you a ton of examples. We're excited to really share what we're doing, what we actually are both really doing right now with clients to get them pivoting appropriately with their marketing, with their online marketing, online advertising, to get the attention of consumers, get the attention of clients and people that they can make clients, make customers. And so I'll be covering the tactics, like the 5 key tactics and things you need to be doing with your online marketing. And then Guillaume is going to go much more into the details of websites, the type of websites, and the applications to use in different circumstances. He is the guru when it comes to the websites, and he'll be sharing that with you. And so we really hope that you get some good information that you can put into action for you to just take it to the next level, take your marketing to the next level, okay? So here, I'm gonna share my screen and we'll get right into this. And hopefully this all works technology-wise. All right, so you should be seeing the first welcome slide there, everybody. And here we go. All right, so, okay, so achieving market leadership. So these are the factors, and this is what we're gonna be covering. So we're gonna cover know where you are and how you're going. Then we're gonna get into how to communicate right now in this COVID economy and what's going on. And it was really interesting because we felt, you know, a few weeks ago, we felt like sort of it was tapering off and it was like we were sort of becoming more normal. And life outside was getting a little sort of normal. And then of course, the media wants to tell us that, oh, wait a minute, we're gonna have a second wave and all this and put your masks back on and do all these things. So, you know, it's a crazy time, right? It's a crazy time, but what I'm going to cover is how to pivot for that, how to be doing the right things right now. And hopefully this does sort of fade out and we can really get more active out there and we can all get outside more and be interacting with our local businesses. Okay. And then we're going to go over the 3 factors for building long-term growth. And of course, we're going to cover your website and social presence and the things you must be doing. And then your advertising, and should you be advertising right now, yes or no, or how should you be doing that? You may have, if you read up on, look at marketing blogs and things like that. A lot of marketing people were talking about to not be advertising. It might be inappropriate or how to do that. And so I'll be talking about that as well. All right, so let's get into this. So right off the bat, what are consumers doing? And there was a bunch of market research recently done. And this is thousands of people across the United States, and 76% of consumers have recently picked up new habits and behaviors, and we got to be aware of this. And so 89% of those said that they plan on keeping those new habits, and these are online habits, virtual habits, how to be doing business online, how to be consuming online. And what it says is consumers are trying new platforms with 36, and of course, here, I'm like, our pictures on my side are right on top of the words. Consumers are trying new products with 36% planning to continue using those new brands since this whole COVID thing started. So they're finding new brands online and they're sticking with it. Specifically new brands that are making it easy to consume because they have online platforms, teleservices in some way, or you can order online and have it delivered to your home. And a great example of this is Walmart. And I know Walmart is like the elephant in the middle of the room. They're massive, but the way they're winning is customer experience, and they're sharing their story of how they're keeping their employees and the public safe. And so this, what it does is this gives us a view, even to a small example for us as small businesses, that if we share that story and we share how we're making it easy to interact with us in an online environment, and we're adjusting our systems to that online environment, we need to share that story, and then we can get those people and those people to be clients of us now and into the future. And what Walmart, of course, was doing is they'll deliver right to your house. And so you can order your groceries, and their website's been adjusted so that you can get to see what's going on and how to purchase, and then order it straight to your house. And then a lot of other big businesses have followed in that exact same path. All right, so let's get going here. All right, the first thing I wanted to talk about on that list is to know where you are and where you're going. And I know everybody's at a different place with their online marketing, and there's people that are more advanced and they're working with an agency, or they themselves really know what's going on. And then a lot of others are nowhere or just beginning. And so I'm going to share some of this, and some of this you might know, but I'm going to share like the broad picture so we all get on the same place. So there's places to look at your analytics, your statistics, and know how you're doing, okay? And of course, Google Analytics is the biggest, all right? So, you go to google.analytics.com and you can get set up on Google Analytics. And then of course, if you have YouTube, and YouTube is now, they're owned by Google, and Google was the biggest search engine in the world. Well, they're actually second now. Google is number 2. They're number 2 to YouTube. YouTube is the biggest search engine in the world now. So people are going to video to find out information, and they're searching on YouTube. That tells us some things about getting our YouTube channel set up properly and start doing more and more video. But in any case, YouTube and Google have fantastic analytics tools to be able to see how you're doing, see how you're engaging with your customers and the people online. So you get that set up. And here is how to find that. Go to analytics.google.com. And if you haven't set up your Google Analytics, this is where you go. Now, you can see in the orange arrow that I'm pointing at, that is where you'll see your little picture or initials, and the little boxes in the corner. Click on there and you can find your Google Analytics tool, and you can go here and just step by step get your Google Analytics set up. This is also where you're set up your Google My Business page, and your YouTube channel can be set up through here. This is where you do everything in that Google universe. All right. Now, from there, now the reason I wanted to talk about analytics first is because you want to get that set up before you do everything else, because then you'll be able to track how you're doing. So you get that set up, and then now we start to really pump on execution on doing various social things, getting your website set up properly, getting active on YouTube or whatever you're going to be doing. But now you'll be able to track those statistically with your analytics and see how you're doing. So that's why I wanted to cover that first. Okay, so what's the senior component about achieving market leadership? Attention. You got to get attention, right? This is the item. So how do you get attention? Well, everything I've been covering. Get your Google My Business page set up. Get your YouTube channel set up. Make sure you're doing your Facebook, your Instagram. And of course, each one of those has their particular audiences. So you need to really nail down who your audience is and then where they are, and then be talking on the right platforms to reach them. I'm going to cover a lot of this stuff as I go through this webinar, and on my slides, I'll be showing you more and more of this. So, but just to touch on some things, you know, Instagram, of course, is going to be a little bit of a younger audience. Facebook is still the biggest social platform anywhere. You know, somewhere over 2 billion people are on Facebook still. So even though Facebook might be getting the boring social platform, or people are like, oh, Facebook's old, it's still the biggest. And it is where you're going to convert the most customers. So you got to be on Facebook. And if your customers are anywhere in the after 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old market, Facebook is going to be bigger than Instagram. If you're going for the younger audience, 18 to 25 to maybe 30, you know, that's Instagram. So, and of course, business to business would be on LinkedIn. So let's get looking at what we should be doing next. All right. I want to talk to you about now how to communicate to get this attention, right? So people are a little more in fear right now than general. So you got to have empathy. And as a business owner, you got to be a leader. So you got to have a leadership position and have empathy with where your customers are at, what they're thinking, know how they're thinking. And we don't want to be super sappy, sympathetic, but have empathy with them. And with my clients, these are things that I'm doing with my clients right now. These are some examples. We shot videos, and you can see the dentist on the far left here, Dr. Bracker in New York. Well, we shot this. Now, we got really creative. How do we get a video shot with her? So I got her on Skype and recorded my screen. And she talked to her audience, to her community, about how she's doing, how her staff are doing, how her dog is doing, you know, how she's staying in shape, how she's exercising at home and using YouTube to watch videos of how she can stay in shape and do her, I think it's CrossFit that she does. But she's shared her story, which was having empathy, right? And then she's a business owner. And so she's being in a leadership position and speaking to them. So she shot that video. I recorded it. I edited it. I put it on her YouTube channel. I put it on her Facebook. And you can see it there on Facebook. It got a massive amount of engagement, tons of comments. I mean, and the picture you're seeing there is quite old. But by now, it's like a lot of engagement has happened. And then this example in the middle is Dr. McDonough, an orthodontist in Salt Lake City. And he, you know, I'm going to share like inside, like what really happened, because, you know, we got to be creative these days. His wife shot him at home. He put his tie on, and he, as the dentist there, as the orthodontist, he recorded a video saying, look, we miss you. We can't wait to see you again, but we want you to stay safe. Our team is staying safe, and just talk to his community. Got tons of engagement, tons of likes, tons of comments and shares of that video. And since that video was shot, we actually shot another one later, and we're in a third video we're shooting like right now this week with him to, you know, have that empathy and really engage with your community. The last one there is an example in a veterinary client I'm working with in Illinois. And they constantly, I mean, they post every single day on Facebook with what they're doing, with videos and pictures to share their story. And they do like a walk up where you drive up, you can't come into the vet practice because the humans can't interact, but they'll come out with their, you know, keeping social distancing with their masks on, and they'll take the pet from you and make sure that over the phone you can talk about, you know, what's going on. So they're sharing how they do that, how they interact with their clientele, which is working fantastic. All right. And so then, and how to communicate to get attention further on this is that now here's 2 websites. Now we shot other videos. Here's another vet, Amigo Animal Clinic. And again, the office manager, I had her shoot a video of the Dr. Karika there. And so he similarly talked to his community about how they're doing at the clinic, that they're staying safe, they're good, we hope you're good, we miss you. And then we recorded that. They sent me the video. We did any final editing on it. And then we put it right on their website. So it's right in the middle of their homepage of their website. And that's the key thing. I know I'm talking quick. I'm trying to share a lot of information, and hopefully, you know, you can use this. And we're talking about websites. Well, video, and I know Guillaume, jump in and tell me to be quiet, and, you know, add anything you want to, if you know.
No, video makes sense totally. I think it's such an important part of your website to have your video presenting your business these days. It's so huge. So yeah, I think you get a good point.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a video on your homepage, Guillaume, how much more engaging and how much benefit to the SEO of that website would you say that is?
Yeah, I don't really have the numbers, but it's definitely a factor. So because you will show up in search for videos in Google, definitely, because they will pick up on, especially if you use YouTube. It's going to be very easy for Google to pick up that you have a video on the homepage and list you in the video sections of the search.
Yeah, and length of time, you know, the longer you can keep somebody on your website, it's an obvious point. But the longer you keep them on your website, the more opportunities there are to engage with different pages of your website and stay there longer. And that gains you power with Google, because Google's going to see that customers are staying on your website longer. Because if you have a 4-minute video or a 3-minute video or 2-minute video on your homepage that tells that consumer all about what you're doing, how you're doing, what your services are, then that really contributes to the power of your website and your homepage. Do I have that right, Guillaume?
Yeah, that makes sense. It's definitely a data that the search engine analyze. So the time that people spend on your website and how much time they spend on each page. And it does affect a little bit the ranking on your website. So if you have, you know, lots of pages, but people don't stick on your pages, you will do less than someone who has a few pages, but they, you know, people just spend more time on those pages, because it's definitely a key factor.
Yeah, great. And so that you see this one at Amigo Animal Clinic, and then you see this other one over here, which is Christians in Dental, a dental client of mine in Las Vegas. And similarly, we got his office manager, shot a video of him in his lobby, did a little edit on that, cleaned it up, got it onto his homepage. And similarly, you know, so you get videos done and you use them on your YouTube channel, you share them on social media, but get those videos. You know, and for your homepage, you do want a professional video. For YouTube, you can do YouTube videos that you can share then onto Facebook and other things, or even videos just directly onto YouTube that can be more, you know, selfie style. You know, we use these phones in here. I'm going to stop sharing just for a second, just so you can see me. So we use these phones all the time, mostly probably for texting, not really for talking. And to look up stuff, and statistically, the numbers are probably higher than this now, but they're finding new businesses to go to visit, to purchase from. 65% of them are doing on these phones. But we can do selfie videos on these phones. And these phones are getting so good with their cameras and their audio that you sit there and do a selfie video. That's plenty good to post that to your Facebook page and even to your YouTube channel once you get good at it. But for your homepage of your website, you don't want that selfie style, rough, just knocked it out video style. Probably not what you want on your homepage. When you're talking about the video that's going to be representing your brand right there, you want to get something that's professionally shot and professionally edited, and sound. Sound is really important. They got to be able to hear you, hear what you're saying. So I just wanted to make that point, that use these phones we've got that have gotten so good to share videos, because videos are the most powerful way to build communication, connection, and trust with your local consumers. So get into that. But for that homepage, get a professionally done video that will really share your company's story. It's more important, almost like you can't do without it, especially if you're going to be redoing your website. All right, I'll go back to my slides here. Let's see if I can get this done right so I don't screw it up. There we are. All right, so you should be seeing my screen again. All right, let's go to the next slide. All right, so I just wanted to share this for long-term growth, that this is a graph of new clients, and this is a veterinary practice. This is a real graph of the new clients, for new clients bringing their pets in, was an average of about 50 to 60 new clients a month that they were getting in. And this graph is during COVID. And we really pumped up with posts every single day about what they were doing, how they were staying safe, how they were keeping their customers safe, and how you can bring your pets in and we'll come out to your car and all this kind of thing with videos. They accomplished a highest ever 90 new clients in a month during COVID. I mean, during this time. And that's the real graph, by the work they were doing on social media, organic social media. We are running some advertising. We had their advertising. We were doing a lot of advertising before COVID. When COVID hit, we took their advertising all the way down to almost zero. You never want to turn off your advertising entirely, because it loses all the power and value you've built up with Facebook and Google on those ad campaigns. So my advice is on the advertising, if you want to cut it back or stop advertising, don't really stop it, but put it at really low, like $1 a day or something like that. Don't turn it off entirely, because you've over time built up power with those platforms that you are an advertiser, and then so they've sort of getting you out there more and more exposure the more you spend with them. They are interested in profit. That's all they want. You're a number to them, and when you spend money with them, you're a paying number. So if you keep paying, they love you. So keep paying, but just if you want to cut it down, but don't stop it altogether. So with this client, we brought the numbers down on what they were spending on advertising, but they organically were putting out more content, and their statistics went up to highest ever numbers. So it's just a great example of, if you do the right things, you can really benefit big time at getting those customers to recognize what you're doing, and that you're doing the right thing and better than the competition. And they'll award you by coming and becoming a client of yours. All right. Where to do it? Well, I've sort of touched on this. As I said, I was going to probably just hit on some points as we went through this webinar. But Google, Facebook, YouTube, those are the biggest platforms right now that it's sort of like the musts. You can do the other platforms as well if they hit your target audience, but these are the must-do platforms to be on for SEO, for social media, and for video. Related to Google, if you don't have a properly set up Google My Business page, then get that done. In this webinar, I'm not going to have time to go into all the details of how to do that, but there's certainly plenty of videos out there on YouTube and stuff and so forth. And but you can simply go to Google My Business, and there's plenty of information right on Google of how to get that set up. But you want to get tons of photos on there. You can post to Google every day. Like Google My Business has set themselves up basically newly to be able to post to it, similar to Facebook. You may have heard a few years back, there was Google Plus. Well, Google Plus died. Google Plus was attempting to compete with Facebook and failed. And Google turned off Google Plus. And you'll find on websites all over the place, they have that Google Plus emblem. And if you click on it, it goes to like this page no longer exists, 404 error page. That's because Google turned off that service entirely. But Google My Business is like the new version of that, right? So you want to get your Google My Business page set up, and then you can post to it with updates just like you're doing to Facebook, right? So you want to post to Google My Business. It's Google. So the more you post to it, that's very beneficial for your SEO, for your search engine optimization. All right. All right, so here's just a bunch more examples of where we're doing this right. And these are clients of mine that I'm working with, coaching on how to be posting to their social media. This is Advanced Pet Care Clinic in Iowa. Great team out there, fantastic team out there. I was shooting a whole set of videos with them just 3 or 4 weeks ago. Dr. Tammy Stevenson. So they're posting videos. This is a cute little puppy video. If you have a vet clinic or you have any small business where you can involve puppies, kittens, or babies, go for it. I mean, puppies, kittens, and babies are the best social media there is. I've never seen anything better. So vets have a one-up on all of us because they have tons of kittens and puppies. So good for them. But if you can involve those kinds of things into your social media, that's a winner, right? So, the puppy videos, killing it. Christensen Dental, Facebook right there. A client just came in for services and they had their mask on, but they brought bagels for the staff. We took photos of that. We got that onto their Facebook page, got great engagement. I mean, that was funny enough, the fact that the patient brought in bagels and shared it with the staff, just to say thank you for being there, because it's been such a weird time. Massive engagement. It was just one of the best posts we've had in a long time with them. Then you have the Amigo Animal Clinic right here. That is actually a Google My Business post right there. And that is the video that we also put on their homepage of their website. Well, we put it on their Google My Business page as well. Over here, you've got a pediatric dentist in Salt Lake City, Orem. And that's their Google My Business page where we're posting there. And then over here, that's Christensen Dental from Las Vegas, and that's their Google My Business page. So you can use all these platforms to share your news. And again, like I said, Google My Business page, your Facebook page, and then of course, YouTube for videos. All right, your website and your social presence. So these are this is Dr. Bracker's Facebook page, and we actually put a video on the top of her Facebook page. On your business Facebook page, they allow you to put a video. They say it's 1 minute, but it's not really a minute, it's 59 seconds. So you can create a video that's 59 seconds or less, and you can put it at the top of your Facebook page. And it's a great way to get that video seen more and more. And anybody visiting your Facebook page can see a video. And what does video do? It builds communication, connection, and trust. Because if they can hear you, see you in real life, that makes you more and more a real person, a human to them. And so that builds that connection and trust before they've ever even come into your shop, into your practice, into your small business. All right, and then over here, you've got Epic Functional Medicine, great team of guys, and this is a functional medicine doctor in Iowa. And so the same thing with them. We built up their Facebook page, and then that's a video on the top of their Facebook page. Okay, and these are websites, okay? And I mean, I know Guillaume is gonna cover a lot more about websites, but here's examples of how we've updated websites. And the other ones, I've Countryside, that's a brand new vet clinic with a puppy on the front, of course, as I mentioned. Right down the middle there is Epic's new website. And Epic, we put a video right there about COVID. So Dr. Bradley is talking about COVID and the virus and true information about it. And we put that right in the top banner of his homepage, of his website. And they're doing fantastic with their engagement, with their conversions, and getting people connected up with them with that. And then of course, over there, you've got Christensen Dental. And as I showed you earlier, we added the video with the doctor right there below the banner on their homepage. Okay, and I talked about advertising, and it is time to start advertising again. You know, if you've cut it back, start to bump it up a little bit now. You know, we're getting towards hopefully the end side of COVID, and people, I mean, certainly in my community, people want to get outside. They want to go back to businesses. Here in California, it's been a bit crazy back and forth, but hair salons are opening up. You can go to the dentist again. You know, you can go to stores. You might have to wear a mask. So you want to start advertising again. Every dentist in our area is spending money on advertising again. So you can't be the one that's not spending on advertising. If your market, if your industry, if your niche is a niche that's advertising on Facebook or on Google, well, you're going to, you need to be there. You need to be where your customers are. You need to be competitive. So my word now is you need to start advertising again. But a key thing you should have as part of that advertising budget is messages that have that empathy, that we're being safe, that we're safe, we're keeping our staff safe, and we're going to make sure that you're safe. People are still concerned about this, of course. So the advertising isn't just sell, sell, sell. You might have some ads that sell your products, but also spend money to share your message of how you're being safe, how you're open, and you look forward to seeing you again. We want to see our patients again. We want to see our customers again. But we got everything set up to make sure that you're safe and that our staff are safe, and put some money behind that. On Facebook, you can boost posts about that to your community. And then of course you can spend advertising money on that. All right. All right. Well, I know people are probably getting tired of hearing me keep talking. I'm wrapping up now. So I really hope that some of this has helped, that a few of these points you can put into use for what you're doing with your online marketing to improve your website. So here's the final 5 points I want to talk about is your digital marketing strategy, because you've got to have one. There's no, as a small business owner, you have no choice. To be competitive, you've got to be online. You've got to have a strategy for it. So you got to have a goal. So right here on this page, you can take a snapshot of this. You got to have a goal. You got to have a target audience. You got to know who it is you're trying to target. It cannot be everybody in America, everybody in North America, everybody in the world, everybody on Facebook. That is not an audience. So who is it that your product or service handles a problem for them, causes a change in their lives, which you will cause? Who is it that you're going to help? You got to name that audience. So you have a goal, you have an audience, then you have the channels named to reach that target audience. So those channels might be email, those channels might be a YouTube channel, it might be a Facebook page, and of course your website. So you got to name what are the channels you're going to use that are the channels that reach that target audience, that target audience is on those channels. And that's the way that you can communicate to them. So a goal, target audience, the channels to get to them. Then you keep track of it. That's the Google Analytics, that's the YouTube Analytics, and there might be other, Facebook has got its own insights. So know how to track how you're doing. Set it up so that you can track how you're doing, and you can see if you're starting to get more engagement, less, you're going to get more leads. You got to be able to see how you're going to do that. So keep track of it. And then finally, execute, do it, get going on it, start posting, start shooting videos of yourself. Keep it simple. Don't not start because you got to have all these things in place, or it's got to be more, too professional, or you need to have somebody shoot it for you. You're never going to get going if you have reasons that it needs to be better or perfect first. It's not going to be that way. None of us that got started with any of this stuff were perfect the first time. So be willing to be goofy, be willing to be stupid, be willing to make mistakes. the customers out there, they will be okay with that as long as you're passionate about making a change in their lives, about handling the problem they have. If you're really passionate about that, they'll get that through all your funniness and goofiness and mistakes. All right. So execute. I really hope that what I've shared with you today is reached you, and that can really make a difference in the online work you're doing to reach more customers with your fantastic story. All right, so Guillaume, I think that I'm wrapped. I think the next slides are for you to talk more about the details of now websites. So I'm going to stop sharing, let you talk,
Sure.
and you can share your slides.
Yeah, thank you so much, Subran. That's so much good information. I love it. Yeah, I'm going to share my slides. So give me a second. It's the first time I do a webinar, so I might be a bit,
Yeah, see, there we go, right there. That's a great example. You just like do it, just get out there.
Yeah.
It's great to have.
All right, so let me share my screen. So if I don't look straight in the camera, sometimes I'm going to look side to side. I have two screens, so just be aware of that. I'm just going to start these slides right there. Whoops, not share, present, obviously. All right, so Graphem, we're really technical. Subran is really marketing strategy here. We're more technical. So we're going to discuss a little bit about website technology and tools you can use for your website. But first of all, before we start, I would just want to make sure we get the three components of a website. I know it might be obvious for everybody, but I always like to go back to basic. It's like cooking. You go back to do your omelette, a nice omelette. You need to learn your basic, and then you can go and get going. So first of all, the first component is domain, obviously, is what is referring in the URL of your web browser. That's your domain. And it's very important to choose a good domain if you don't have one already. So you want to make sure something that reflects your business, not too long, straight to the point. And if you can include keywords in it for your business, that's really good because the search engine really value the domain name. Also, just so you know, if you have a domain name for a long time and you have some website on it for a long time, this is a lot of value as well for the search engine. If your domain is old and add content on it, it has a lot of value.
Guillaume, that's a great point, and I can add to that is one of my clients is in indoor plants, and it's called Exotic Plants, and they bought their domain name in 1996.
Oh, that's good.
And they were literally like at the beginning of the internet, and it's Exotic Plants, I think ltd.com. And no matter what, I mean, they are #1 on Google search forever. Anything they post comes on it because, and it's got to be what you just said, because their domain has just been there so long and it's so powerful that there's no other interior plant company that can beat it. So it's a great point of, and I guess for everybody, it's like, get started now. Don't wait, get that domain name.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's true. Because, yeah.
And I sort of get confused myself because I like you said, I do marketing strategy more than the technology of the websites. But your URL in that line at the top of your computer, that URL, is the URL the same as the domain name?
Yes, that's what I'm referring to. So the domain name is, let's say google.com. But the URL could be something else as well. It could be a subdomain, which is like email.google.com. So that's a subdomain, but referring to the domain is the main thing, which is the google.com in that case. So that's the domain name. And one thing I want to mention with domain name as well is I see a lot of people, what they're doing is let's say they buy a domain name for their business, but then after they buy like 20 domain names for variation of the business, etc. I'll be honest with you, that has not any value in SEO if you do not host any content on these domain names. So if you buy your main domain name and then you buy like 20 other domain names that you resurrect, you send to the main domain name, that doesn't have a much value. The search engine will not really value you for these 20 domains that you purchase. So just don't make that mistake. So this is domain name. And usually for domain name, if you don't have one, I like to go to Domain Wheel. It's kind of a little cool tool if you're looking for a domain name. So, you're selling shoes, so selling shoes. And then you can search domain. I made a typo here, but. And then when you do that, they can propose you other domain name and they tell you if they're available. So that's pretty interesting. They can also vary the keywords here. So that's just a little tips here that you can use. And then back to our slides. So the next component is hosting. So this is where your file is going to be of your website. So your content. So it's going to be somewhere in the world because it's basically what it is. Hosting is a computer. So you can host your website on your own computer. That would be a mistake because if you shut down your computer, you wouldn't have any website anymore. So you need a hosting, which is a machine on a data center somewhere that will host your content. And there's different type of hosting. So when you start, usually you will get with the shared hosting, what we call, and it's the cheapest plan. Usually you'll pay between $5 to $10 per month. And you can get hosting, but usually they pack you with thousands of other users on one machine. So the performance will be, not so good if you have a lot of traffic on your website. And there's other, level of hosting as you go up, where you can have your own dedicated machine, or you can have a virtual machine, which is a machine in a machine. It's like the Matrix. And then that's about hosting. So this is where your file will reside. And then the last component is obviously the content, what you're going to put on your website and how you're going to manage it. So you need some sort of a content management system, or if you don't have one, that will be your HTML files, which refer to the code that is used for your website or your images. And yes, so that's the three components. There we go. So different website option to host your content and manage your content. So the first option is what we call hard-coded HTML. It's like the old way of doing things where you go in and you code. So you need to have a lot of knowledge about coding. And then it's harder to modify if you don't have any knowledge. It could be more expensive because you got to pay your web developer all the time to update your files and your website. But we like that, web developers as well, to do. So I don't mind doing it for you. And then another option here that we see, you've probably seen that there's so many ads about that. So Wix, Squarespace, and GoDaddy, I put them all in one thing because they all have in common a customized web builder that they've built, which is very user-friendly. So there's a lot of templates you can choose from. You can get going very fast. And it's very easy for you to get your website like in a matter of, not even a day, it's very, very fast. I would say the downside of that, it's a bit more restrictive what you can do. So you won't be able to do maybe anything like in terms of, building funnels or et cetera. So you could be a bit restricted in what you can do with these platforms. But if time is the essence, I do recommend that. And then you will have to pay a fee per month for these services if you want to get the good things, because sometimes they offer like a free package, but it's not so good because maybe they put like a watermark with, hosted by Wix. Doesn't look really professional. So it will cost you probably around 20 to 40 bucks per month for these services. And when I say GoDaddy also sell domains, but they also sell this kind of hosting where you can manage your website. Now, the other option here is,
yeah, go ahead. Feedback there, Guillaume, is I've had 3 clients of mine. We tend to build WordPress websites where clients need a new website, which I know is another example you're going to give in a minute. But I do have 3 clients that we've built Squarespace websites. So from our side, the homework we've done, and this is just my 2 cents, but everybody can do their own homework. But Squarespace is a really great platform for that quick and more simple drag and drop kind of website to get going. And you can have a professional, like a company like Walker Creative or Guillaume's company, Graphem, even build your Squarespace website, and it will be cheaper to go that route because it's easier for us to build it for you as well. But you get it done in a more professional way. But you can do it yourself as well. So I did my own 2 cents. And the last one we built, I think the client was to Squarespace was paying like, I think $24 a month to pay to use their platform.
Yeah, exactly. So these are really great options. Like they're really, really valid options. It really depends on your needs and how fast you want your website and in terms of if you have any customization. WordPress option, this is what we like to push a lot to our customers. And the reason for that is it's super easy to customize. So you can do a lot of things with WordPress. It's unbelievable. So it's open source, meaning you have access to the source code. You can do your own thing in it, create your own extension, etc. And it's very easy to implement custom design with WordPress. Very, very easy. One of the greatest advantage of WordPress is the community. So it's one of the largest community in the world in terms of the open source platforms, because WordPress, I think, I don't have the real number, but power approximately 30% of the website. So 30% of the websites are on WordPress. So it's huge. So you have tons of plugins, tons of extension, tons of themes you can purchase for premium. There's lots of also free plugins you can use to do different things. So it's an amazing platform. When it's well configured and well optimized, it's super secure and super fast, but you need to know what you're doing with WordPress. That's the thing. So this is where it gets, you hire a company like us.
That's right.
Exactly. There's other CMS out there. And what I mean CMS is content management system. There's one called Drupal. It's been there for a long time. It's very well done, super complicated. It's been built by engineer, I think. So that's why it's been, so this is not something I recommend. So if you come across and someone suggests you Drupal, I would say, let's look at other options. There's Joomla as well, a bit similar to Drupal, a bit less popular than WordPress, still valid, but I would kind of, this is, WordPress is really my choice because it's very versatile. So if you go to someone, you make business with someone with a web developer, and let's say you want to move on, go to another developer, it's going to be very easy to move because most of the people know WordPress. All right, so let's move on to e-commerce. So e-commerce, there's not been a better time than right now to start your e-commerce store yourself, because the tools out there are easy and unbelievable. I'm going to cover two platforms right now, which is the first one, WooCommerce, and this is related to WordPress. So it's an e-commerce platform that you install on your WordPress website. And there's the other option, Shopify. So there are two different options entirely. So WooCommerce, you need to kind of manage it yourself. So it's going to be on your WordPress store. There's a bunch of extensions, lots of huge community. You can purchase premium extension, like if you want to track your orders. There's different things you can do with WooCommerce. The advantage of WooCommerce is highly customizable. So you can do so much with it. Let's say you have a special need. You say, I want people to be able to do this on the checkout page, or I want people to be able to do this when they add to the cart. WooCommerce is really the solution for that because you can customize it very easily when you're a developer and when you know the code. So I highly recommend that. I would say the downside of WooCommerce is you got to manage the hosting. So you're kind of responsible for the whole platform, right? So you got to update the plugins. You got to make sure you're up to date. Shopify, on the other end, you probably heard of it in the news. Their stock is going crazy. It's a Canadian company. Oh, good. They are an amazing platform, I would say. But they're a bit like Squarespace, so they own everything. So whenever you start an account on Shopify, you're going to be hosted on their server. It's not going to be your hosting platform. It's going to be their hosting platform. They kind of manage the code. So it's a bit less flexible if you want to do customization. Customization can be so pricey if it's very tailored to you, because you're going to hire some Shopify developers, and they're a bit more of a rare breed than WordPress developers. But Shopify, though, is the solution if you want to launch your store super fast. So if you're like, I want to launch my store like next week. Well, Shopify is the solution, honestly, because they have a bunch of templates. You can go on there, set up your products, set up your payment gateway to accept credit card online, and then you're good to go. Shopify, you will pay around like I think it ranges between 20 and it can go to $200 per month. And they charge a percentage of amount on the transaction on top of your gateway. So just be aware of that. So they can charge you, I think, I don't have the exact number, but they can charge you 1% of the transaction. Plus you're going to pay, let's say, 2.9% for Stripe or PayPal, which is a payment provider. So you got to calculate that. So with WooCommerce, you don't pay these extra. because you kind of own the platform and you host it on your own server.
And do you, Guillaume, do you guys build both, or do you prefer to do one of them?
We build both. I would say we don't specialize in Shopify. We did some, but we do specialize in WooCommerce. And the reason for that is because it's so flexible and we love it, because it's very easy to build extension and customize it. Shopify is very restrictive, platform in terms of customization. So if you want to build an extension, it's a bit more complicated. You got to build your own server to host the extension, and it's kind of linked inside of, anyway, there's a bit of technicality to it, but it gets the break on customization, right? It's a lot easier to work with WooCommerce. And one advantage I would say with WooCommerce is because you can have your very complex website along with your store. So you have like a highly complex website and like pages, posts, etc., and then a store on the same platform. Shopify allow you to create page, but that's about it. There's not much you can do in terms of dynamic content in Shopify. It's really a e-commerce platform.
Got it.
In terms of marketing automation tools that I recommend. So, and what I mean by marketing automation, I mean sending emails automatically to your customers based on action they do on your website, or if they click links on your emails, etc. There's different variables you can use to do your automation. But if you're not in the marketing automation game yet, you might want to consider it. It's very powerful what you can do. So you can build campaigns based on what people do. Let's say they fill a form for an ebook on your website. Then you can build an automated campaign of like 10 emails that you send every 2 days, and you try to convert them to buy a product, or you know what I mean? So that's marketing automation. So you reduce your effort on the long term to manually send broadcasts to your email list. So while you build your email list, you can put them in these campaigns that will automate the sending of the emails. So the one that I recommend in that area are Infusionsoft by Keep, HubSpot, Autopilot, and Entreport. These are platforms that are pretty pricey, so just be ready to put the money in for these. So usually it will range between, I would say $50. Autopilot, their small plan is $50, up to thousands of dollars. I'm not kidding. So HubSpot can be very expensive, so be careful with HubSpot. HubSpot is an amazing platform, super well built. It's a CRM at the same time, meaning you can keep all your contact information. It's highly scalable, very well done, pricey, but it's really good. If you have the money, HubSpot is a really good choice. Infusionsoft as well is really well done. They recently called themselves Keep because they refactored their main platform, which is now Keep for Marketing. And it's really good. We've used it with a customer for over 10 years. It's a pretty solid platform. If you scale over 5 million of contact, then you gotta worry about the scalability with Infusionsoft. But if you're a small business, it's really good. And you will pay around like $150 to $1,000. It really depends on the contacts you have on the database. Autopilot is really focused on just automation. So it's not a CRM. It doesn't store all your contact information. Is really just you enter a contact in a sequence and they will send them emails based on actions. This is why it's a bit of a cheaper option, so that I would recommend. Entreport is a new player that I've started using recently, and it's a bit of a competitor of Infusionsoft, and their pricing is really good. Honestly, they have good pricing. So with a $150 plan, you can get like even their e-commerce, so you can sell even on their platform. You can build landing pages, you can build like e-commerce cart, etc. So it's a really good option. But recently I discovered a very underrated WordPress plugin, and you want to hear about this one. It's really, really good. So I'll show my recommendation.
That sounded super cool.
It's super cool. I'm very excited about this one, honestly. I've started, and it's a Canadian company. We're so good in technology, you know, in Canada.
Like my wife will constantly tell me about Lululemon because it's a Canadian company. My wife is Canadian.
Yeah. I love Canada. Well, I love Quebec too. You know, I'm from Quebec. So, but it's like, oh, you know, I'm just kidding. Groundhog. Okay, so this tool is really good. So this is a company from Toronto that built a plugin for WordPress that does marketing automation, but really the right way. And I went and I inspected their code, and I can say it's one of the best code library I've seen in WordPress community out there. It's really well done. So basically what it is, it's a competitor of all. I'm just going to show you a rough demo, but it's a competitive of Infusionsoft, HubSpot, Entreport. It's kind of a CRM inside of your WordPress, but also a sales funnel. So you can build automation with marketing. So let me show you a quick demo of this. So I have installed it on a store, a test store, and it's up there in WordPress. So if you're familiar with WordPress, this is the back end of WordPress. You will see that this is a CRM. So you have your contacts. Each of your contacts can have different panel with all the activity they're doing, segmentation. They support tags, so you can build email list. You can send broadcast emails from WordPress to thousands of people. But the beauty of it is really what we call the funnels. So you can build funnels inside of WordPress and even hook it into WooCommerce. So if you have WooCommerce as an e-store, you can implement that to launch campaigns based on different things. So I'm going to give you an example. If I click add new, I can add a funnel. There's a bunch already built. So if I click on start building the abandoned cart funnel, meaning if someone goes in the cart and doesn't purchase the product, you can launch this campaign. So basically what you can do is if the people leave the cart, you wait 3 hours, you send them a coupon. You know, you can have automated coupons, and then to convert them back into your store as a lead. You can edit the email right there in WordPress. And the templates are really simple. So there's no like big banner images. It's very simple templates, like text-like emails. And I think these text-like email, like it's someone writing to you, are really effective, even more than the beautiful design emails. You know, I think these emails are super effective. Anyway, I'm not going to go too much in detail with this platform, but you got to check it out. And the reason I'm saying that,
Guillaume, is that a paid for plugin or is that a free?
There's a free version of it, so you can try it out. It still works pretty good. I think you have the funnel in it, but it's not super extensive funnel things you can do with the free version. However, if you pay for the premium version, you have a lot of extensions that are great. And I think it worth every penny. If you look at the big picture, it's going to cost you around $40 a month for this. And it's actually you can do almost as HubSpot can do in terms of automation, where HubSpot, you're going to pay $3,000 per month. Okay. Wow. So this is a really good tool. I recommend checking it out. You see how I'm excited about it. And then the other tool that I recommend if you have a WordPress site is Graphem. It's a very, very good form builder. So you can build your own forms, contact form, ebook form. We use that internally at Graphem for our website. It's very powerful. And then it stores the information on your website, on your database. So when people fill the form, you will all get them into your WordPress. You can build lists with connector to, like, let's say services like MailChimp. You can even connect to Infusionsoft, and you can connect to Groundhog. So whenever they fill a form in Infusionsoft, you can add them a tag in Groundhog so you can build your email list. Now, the only thing I would say about Groundhog, if I go back to it a little bit, is it requires a little bit of setup so that your emails are good to go. But we have implemented that successfully with a customer with Amazon email services. So all the emails are sent via the Amazon server, and it works really well. And with Amazon, you pay 1 cent per 1,000 email you send. So just so you know, it's cheap.
Wow. I just want to say, as we're getting close to the end of this, there it is right there. Okay.
Yes,
so
there we go. So as we are approaching the end, so these are my tools recommendation, but we want to offer you a free consultation with me or Sabran. So if you want to opt into that, you go to graphem.com/chat, and you'll be able to schedule an appointment with one of us. And yeah, so that was it. I hope that that gives you a little bit of, a little bit of information to get going with your website ideas and, to increase your sales and your leads.
Yeah, no, I mean, Guillaume, my own 2 cents, some of that gets very technical, and I think a lot of us are not going to be like the super savvy back-end web people, but certainly what I got from what you shared is simply that there are great solutions out there, and with a little help from someone like you or an agency, at least as a consumer or someone who needs to create a website or needs a website for their business, now they understand a bit more about what goes into it and how to be smart about running someone who's going to be building a website for them.
Absolutely. Yes. Sorry, sometimes I speak really fast, and I'm very technical. But yes, and one thing I would say is don't be afraid to spend on these tools, because they do worth it if they're using them correctly. So they're going to get your money back for sure in terms of increasing your sales. Perfect. We had some chat here. Let's see.
All right. Well, excellent. Thanks to everybody that attended, and hopefully it helped you out. And it's great to have everybody here with us today.
Yes, thank you so much for coming. I don't know if you have any questions. Someone was saying, what is CMS? Let's see. So CMS stands for Content Management System. So it's a system to manage your content online, which is a tool like WordPress or any of the tool I discussed about managing your website. So this is a content management system where you can write a little article, click publish, and it will go on your website.
Awesome.
Where does Google site fit in this slide? Google Sites. Oh, Google Sites. I think Google Sites, from what my understanding is, I've used it in the past, it's more like an internal, I think you can host, external website with Google Sites. But what I've seen is it's been used more like an internal tool for companies for building like an intranet inside of a company. So Google Site, I think, is very useful for that.
And Guillaume, also someone asked about a glossary. I know that I have, for my clients, I actually created a glossary of like all the words in the online marketing world. It's several pages. So I have a PDF of that glossary. So I'll make, if anybody wants that, put something in the chat with your email so that we can send you that glossary just in case anybody does want that, because someone asked about that.
Absolutely. And we have put on our website, if you go to graphem.com, if you go to tools, we have a glossary there online that we usually put the most common terms because I think it's really important in the web sphere as well. There's so many technical terms. So it's really important to understand what they are. Was there any, let's see here. Can you hire a company to manage your WooCommerce? Yes, obviously, for sure. You can hire a company to manage your WooCommerce. And Graphem, we do that as well. So definitely a good developer with WooCommerce is a key. If you want to expand and create more different customization of your store.
Great. And someone asked about what's an extension?
An extension mostly is, it refers to you extend something. So if I refer to an extension in WordPress, it's a plugin. So it's something that someone else built that you can install, and it's not really part of WordPress, main code, but that you can bring in to add extra functionalities.
What would be an example of that? Like, let's say, okay, you build me a website that is all about roses. I have a rose company where I sell rosebuds.
Yeah.
But then what would be an extension? Like what kind of thing could be an extension added to that website?
Well, you could have an extension, as I mentioned in my slides, which is Gravity Form. It's a WordPress extension plugin, which you can use to build a form for people to contact you online via, a form. So email, name, send a communication, and this will send an email to your mailbox.
Okay, good example. Okay, good.
Yeah. And there's thousands for WordPress. There's thousands and thousands of exceptions. So if you have an idea, you think about, oh, what about doing this? Seriously, you just go on Google, you search for your ideas, and it's most likely done already in WordPress.
Nice. Well, great, everybody. So we'll wrap up the webinar, and you know, of course, in the chat or email either of us, and we can help you further if you need anything. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming.
Talk later.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you.
Thanks.